Okay, I want to talk to something that is a hot button topic right now. And I think some things need to be said because I think there's a lot of people out there that have very strong opinions about certain things, but those opinions are coming straight from emotion and not from facts or tactics or anything like that. So let's talk about active shooters / active killers. Okay, so if you're watching this video along with the next video, you'll see I'm wearing the same stuff because I just got done filming a previous video for high pro operations and PTSD work. I'm wearing the exact same stuff because whilst I was filming that, I had an idea and I wanted to go over some things. Okay, so recently we just had an active shooter / active killer / whatever you want to call him. Oh, I'm not going to mention that person's name, by the way. Go into a school and shoot up a school and kill a bunch of little kids. All right. I'm not going to go over what they did right or wrong because I wasn't there. I'm getting information like most of you guys are getting. I do know 2 people that were there at the tail end of what happened. They were not there to go in the school or anything like that. So I'm getting their information and then stuff off the news and stuff. But what I'm seeing, generally speaking, is that everybody says, well, if that was my kid, I would have fucking grabbed my granddad's shotgun and I would have ran in there. And I'm like, well, that's what we all want to do, right? Any red-blooded American, boy, girl, black, white, purple, green, whatever, then none of that stuff matters. Dude, if your kid's in trouble, you're going to want to go help your kid. Like, that's just nature, man. I mean, you can see, go down to the littlest creature. I mean, go down to a duck. They're going to fight for their kids. Go to a lion. They're going to fight for their kids. Elephants, like everything in nature. If you have children, you're going to want to fight for your kids, right? So I can't fault people for thinking that way by any means. I want to cover, if something like that does happen, what should you actually do to help the situation and not to hurt the situation, okay? Okay, so let's go over a couple things real quick. 1, people seem to think that when the cops arrive, they are dressed like some fucking tier 1 Delta Force operator and they have everything they could ever want on their person and they're gonna kick ass and take names, which is not the case. Normally, the first responders are going to be, for those of you that are old, Barney Fife. You guys know what I'm talking about? Mayberry? They're going to show up. They're going to have very simple things. They're going to have a gun, a pistol. They're going to have soft body armor, right? Which is not rifle rated. Throw that out there. That all covers it. That and radio. That's it. That's all they got. That's it. Okay? If you're going up against a dude with an AR, you are already outgunned because your ballistic armor cannot take AR rounds. That's it. That's all they got. Okay, what don't they have? Well, some may or may not have a rifle and a shotgun and or one of the other or just one, blah, blah, blah. Okay? It all depends on the department. I just talked to a guy who's been on Dallas, Texas. Dallas, right? He's been on there for just over a year. Prior to that, he spent 8 years in the military. They have not given him the opportunity to go and take a rifle class and qualify with his rifle. And he's been on there for over a year. So if that dude shows up on scene, he's got his pistol. That's it. That's all he's got. A lot of them don't have shields. They can throw them in the trunk and then they have shields. That way, even if they have soft body armor, at least the shield can protect them from the rifle rounds and then they can shoot around the shield through the little glass thing, right? They don't have it. Breaching equipment. Dude, I can tell you honestly that hardly any cops carry breaching equipment in their cars. Okay? It's shitty, but it's fucking true, right? Why? Because a good breaching tool, like not a sledgehammer, but a good, like a door buster, they're they're expensive for what they are, and frankly, people don't want to spend the money on them. And that's just the fucking truth, right? So, keep that in mind, right? First guy's there, probably not going to be all that well equipped. May or may not be even trained at all. I mean, you could have a dude show up and they have little to no knowledge of what the fuck they're about ready to do. But they just grab their balls, they're going to go do it. Okay, so not only are they not prepared, right? Let's just pretend that they go up to the school, and I don't know if you guys know this, but almost, not all, almost every school nowadays, their big glass doors and all their glass windows, they're not just like your regular glass that you have on the side of your car. They have a laminate inside of them that if you shoot through it, the whole glass is not going to drop out. It's just going to stay there and you're just going to shoot a hole through it, kind of like a front windshield of a car. You actually have to beat it and bash it and tear it apart in order to go through it, okay? So it's not just, I'm going to take out my little ass and bash the window in. That's not how it works. It's not how they're set up, all right? The doors to the outside of the schools are supposed to be locked. That's why you have to buzz in whenever you go get your kid for a dentist appointment or whatever. And the school or the classroom doors are supposed to be those really super heavy fire-rated doors, locked from the inside and able to be secured somehow, right? There is 1,000 really cool videos out there of how to secure doors. I suggest you just look it up. I just saw one where they took like a four-legged, like old school chair and they wedged it in the handle. Worked great. So, just to throw that out there, right? So, we got an active shooter. We're just gonna say it's in the school because that's what just happens. That's what's fresh on everybody's mind, right? You see the first responder is a dude that only has a pistol and soft ballistic armor, and that's it. He probably doesn't have the keys to the school, so now he's just trying to get inside. If he's trying to shoot out the window to get in the school, it's not going to work. If he tries to kick in a door, it's not going to work, right? So there's your first obstacle, right? Let's take me, for example. If I was whatever, let's just say I was going to school to pick up my kids, it's towards the end of the day, and I hear over the news or my phone alerts me or whatever that says there's an active shooter inside my, middle school, okay? I'm pretty well trained in this stuff. I'm pretty well versed. I have all the equipment to go do what I need to do. So let's just say I hit the skinny pedal on the right. I get up there real quick. I jump out of my car. Let's back it up for a second. Some cops don't even have this, man. Some cops don't even have this. Think about that. But I do. So let's just say this was in my truck for some odd fucking reason. I threw this on. I have a gun, right? Maybe I have 2 guns. Fuck, maybe I have 5 guns. Who knows? And I'm ready to rock. And then I go up to the door. Fuck. Can't get in, right? So that's our first obstacle. You have to get into school. Hopefully, some cops have the keys to their schools. Or they know how to get in. Usually there's other methods of getting in that I won't talk about that certain people know, like agencies know, like especially firefighters. So there's other ways to get in the school. If not, you can hit that little buzzer. Hopefully the lady at the front desk is not dead and or she's not paying attention so she can respond. More than likely, they're not going to let you in because they don't know who the fuck you are. Which boils back down to the next point. Okay. Let's say Barney Fife and his buddies have already gone into school and they are handling business, right? And then all of a sudden they turn around and they see a 6'2", 270-pound guy with a baseball hat on, sleeves of tattoos, full body armor, with a rifle walking down the hallways, right? What do you think is going to happen? I think we're going to get into another gunfight. That's what I think. I think even if I see them, I drop it and go like this and be like, oh, friendly, I'm going to be put on the ground very hard. I'm going to be handcuffed, and then I will hopefully get a chance to explain myself at a later date and time. Okay, so let's rewind. Let's say I get that call and I show up on scene and all of a sudden there's me and fucking 2 other dads, right? And we're armed to the teeth and we're like, let's fucking do this. Let's say we make entry, right? Let's say we go down and let's say we smoke the shooter. We are pop and we're high-fiving each other, woohoo! And then the cops come. And then the cops get there. And what do they see? They see 3 dudes with body armor, armed to the teeth, and a whole fucking bunch of dead people around. What do you think is going to happen then? I think I know what's going to happen. Because guess what? Cops don't have to tell you to drop your weapon. They don't have to tell you to halt and freeze. They just see a bunch of dudes with guns, with smoking barrels, and dead people around. What do you think they're going to do? Okay. So now we've covered both of those situations, and both of them are kind of fucking shitty, right? So, whilst I feel everybody's pain because I have 2 children myself, and Lord knows that I don't know if I could help myself if it came down to it and this was actually happening, I don't know if I could help myself and not stay out of the school. I don't know. So I feel you. I'm just saying, even if I did it, I don't know if it's the right move. Okay. Now, let's flip the scenario. Let's say I'm now in my patrol car. I am a cop. I am the first one on scene. Okay. I get there. Put it in park. I go to my rear. I put on my heavy vest, which is cops call it a heavy vest. I don't know. I guess it's because it's heavy. I'm not fucking sure why they do that. I put on my heavy, and I had a pistol, rifle, and a shotgun. I would probably, my pistol's in my holster. I'd probably grab my rifle, sling it, and then grab my shotgun and sling it too, right? And right when I'm doing that, I got another car pulls up. This dude jumps out of his truck. He looks pretty fucking squared away to me. He's like, wait. Goes to the back of his truck, dons on some body armor, and pulls out an AR. And he goes, I'm coming with you. I give the dude a once over. You can usually tell if somebody knows what the fuck they're doing within 2 or 3 seconds, right? I'm like, all right, bro, let's fucking go. That's what's going to happen. Why? Because I'd much rather have 2 shooters than 1 shooter. I would much rather have me and him going in than just him. But to caveat that, I got to call it out on my radio. Hey, I'm going in +1 with, and I'm going to give his description, what he's wearing. We're both going to be entering on the whatever north door, blah, 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 right? Now that dude's with me. Now I got to tell that dude, you stay with me all the time, because if cops see us, I want them to see another cop with you, us interacting. That way they don't think you're the bad guy. Makes sense, right? Right? Whenever you do a hostage rescue overseas, you don't coddle the hostage. Let's just say that, right? You don't treat them badly per se, but you don't coddle them. You search them. You make sure they're okay. Can you walk? Yes, cool. Then what a lot of people do is maybe they'll zip strip them, but loosely, not super tight. But we don't know, if they've been, indoctrinated. We don't know what their mental state is, all that stuff. So we have to hold them tightly close to us, right? The reason we do that is so other people can see, hey, he's got the hostage, and the hostage is all bundled up so they can't do anything. I want this dude to be bundled up too. Granted, he's got a gun, he's gonna help me do some dirt, but I want him to be bundled up with me, like under my wing, like a little bird. That way, if my partners come, they don't fucking smoke this dude when he's the good guy. Because that's just horrible, right? So, it's something we really, really have to think about. And this, what I just said, is all assuming that you know what you're doing, that you even know how to do what we're about to do. That at some point in your life, you've had a lot of training and you can go down and kill somebody in the classroom. Take accurate shots with your heart rate elevated in a very high stress scenario with a bunch of kids around. I'm just completely assuming that. I don't know. What is your skill level? Ask yourself, what is it? Is it super high, you Delta Force? Is it super low? Are you liberal? Or is it somewhere in the middle somewhere? Right? I mean, that's honest questions, right? In some states, it's okay to wear a vest, like a high-vis orange, yellow vest that says security on there. I, myself, would take a pregnant pause, which is what we call it, right? It basically stop for a second and think about it. I would take a pregnant pause if I go into a school and I see a dude with a high-vis security vest on, right? Why? Because it's fucking odd. It stands out and it's weird. And that's going to tell my brain, hey, this is weird, this is odd, this doesn't fit. What the fuck's going on, right? So that second pregnant pause may give that dude in the safety vest the second to be like, yo, I'm a good guy. Bad guy's right over there. I killed him. I didn't kill him. They're shooting down the hallway. I'm trying to help these kids by putting medical aid on them, like, or what have you, right? Hopefully that gives the cops a pregnant pause in order to let that guy live. Not all cops are trained that way. Not all cops have the training that certain other people have. And not all cops are going to make the right decisions. I'm just going to put it out there. All right, so again, we're talking about body armor, right? Do you have any body armor, or are you just going to fucking John Wick this shit? Because if you come at me and you have long black hair and a beard and you're wearing a suit and all you pull out a fucking $20,000 Glock, I'm probably going to take you with me regardless, because you look like John Wick and you probably pretty badass. But let's think about this again. You're an average Joe, okay? Maybe you never even served in the military. Maybe you're just a person that has a couple guns because you like guns, right? Because it's your fucking right to have that, right? You hear a school shooting, and because you are a good person, because you are someone that obeys the law, and because you hate people who kill children, you make the conscious decision that you're going to go fucking do something about it. You go in there with no body armor, lacking skills and knowledge, and maybe you have, a shotgun or whatever, right? You are using, horrible techniques or whatever, but you get to the shooter, and all of a sudden the shooter kills you dead. What good did you do? You know what I mean? Are you feeling me right now? It's hard. It's hard to say, because if you ever watched the Beslan massacre when the Chechens blew up that school in Russia, it's hard, man. Like I cannot honestly sit here and tell you that I would not do that. I can't. I know it's wrong. I know I shouldn't. But goddamn, man, it's hard. It's hard. I can't be mad at parents for wanting to do that. I can't be mad at them. I'm not even a little bit. Can't. All right. So let's see. Now, let's say again you go in there, and let's say you get into a gunfight. Let's say you get into a sustained gunfight with bad guys. Do you know how to be in a sustained gunfight? Did you bring enough ammunition and firepower to be in a sustained gunfight? What happens if you run out? Then what? Fuck, did you even call 911 to tell them you were coming in there? Did you even let anybody know? So at least the cops know that, hey, a dude in a red flannel is a good guy. Did you let anybody know that? That's another thing you gotta think about. If you do it, I'm not saying you're supposed to, because you're definitely not, but you may want to have that fucking phone on 911 and let them listen to everything that's going on. Because 911 operators are pretty awesome at what they do. And they're pretty awesome at relaying the correct information, okay? Let me see. Okay. How can I put this? So, in the military, we have techniques and procedures for everything. We have SOPs for everything, right? And we also have SOPs for leaving breadcrumbs, which is the old throwback to Hansel and Gretel, right? What door did you go in? How do they know you went in that door? Which way did you turn at that T intersection of the hallway? Which rooms have you cleared? Which rooms haven't you cleared? Okay? You need to find a way to mark that stuff in order for the follow-on forces, be it cops or whatever, to know what's going on. All right? It's easy for a cop to see a sign, something like an arrow, even in Sharpie on a door. Hey, I bet he went in here because there's a giant fucking arrow, right? Or every room that you do a check mark or something like that, right? You take a left, you draw an arrow to the left, That way everybody knows where the fuck you're going. That way we know, okay, well, if he's going this way, the shooter's possibly this way, right? If he cleared this way, I'm going to send a team the opposite way to clear that way, and then we're going to go follow this dude. We're going to try to find him. And goddamn, there's 1,000 ways to skin a cat. So, what you do is what you do, and I'm not going to get into SOPs for anybody. You gotta think about that stuff. You gotta think about, like, if I'm going to go clear this area, how are the follow-on forces going to know that I'm a good guy and which way I went? Got to think about it. All right. So we covered briefly calling 911. If you call 911 and you say, hey, I'm a kid's dad and I'm going to go fucking bust in this door and going to go save their life, they're going to tell you not to do it, right? I mean, obviously. So you have to think about that too. You have to think about, like, no, I'm going to go do this. You're going to have to, like, wait, or, And God, I pray to God there's some SRO at that school or some security officer at that school that can handle the situation before I get there, because I don't want to come into a gunfight and that SRO or that security officer sees me and thinks I'm another bad guy. That would be horrible. That would be absolutely horrible, right? Because now they think they're in two gunfights. And when somebody is in the heat of battle and they're fucking narrowly focused, right? And they can't hear certain things, they can't see certain things, and they're, just straight up focused like this. And you have to tell them that you're the good guy and you're their friend and you're there to help them. It's a hard thing to do. It's a hard thing to do. On top of that, what are you wearing? Did you tell anybody what you're wearing, what you're going in there for? It's, again, there's 1,000 things you got to think about if you're going to go do this. And a lot of people don't think about any of them. And if you're going to go play Rambo and, be the lone survivor, like, it's a rough game. You know what I mean? Especially if you've never done it before. If you've never done it in real life, if you've never been shot at or shot somebody in real life, then good luck. That's all I got to say. All right? Again, I am not condoning anybody to do any of that stuff because it's not right. You shouldn't be doing it. But like I said, man, fuck. It'd be hard for me not to. It really, really would be. It would be really hard for me to not do that. It would be even harder for me to see two cops stacked on a door ready to go in and me not be the third guy or the fourth guy or what have you. It would be really, really hard. Regardless if I have a badge or not, regardless if I was, anything or not, I would, it'd be hard, man. It'd be really hard. It would be really hard if you got there and there's a whole bunch of cops there and they're telling you to stay back and you don't want to stay back, right? But, like I said, I'm going to caution you with this. There's a lot of things to think about, and the very last thing you want to do is get into another firefight with cops, because you're not going to win that game. You're not going to be the lone survivor and outshoot 500 officers that get there. It's just not going to happen. Okay, they got more bullets than you do, and you didn't bring enough shit. I mean, that's all there is to it. Besides, they're the fucking good guys, man. All right, no matter what the media may portray cops as right now, and no matter what you hear about cops right now, right? The fact of the matter is that 99.9% of cops are going to run into that fucking building and they're going to do whatever they can to save human lives. All right? Granted, there's going to be that 0.01% that just either lack the intestinal fortitude, they, lack the training, lack the knowledge, lack the balls, whatever you want to say, that are not going to do that. But for every one of those cops, there's 100 more that's going to. All right? And those cops are not going to be superhuman. They're not going to be your, whatever top level CrossFitter cops. They're going to be your average dude that likes a donut but fucking hates bad guys. All right? Okay, so we've covered all that today. I just want to give a shout out to all our first responders because, goddamn, man, it's a hard fucking job. It really is. It's a really hard job, especially nowadays, right? So give a shout out to all you homies. All my dudes overseas that are putting boot to ass for this country. Love you. Always have, always will. And all you civilians out there that are supporting everybody like that, I fucking love you guys too. Because, in all honesty, without your guys' support, this country would not be what it is today. And again, I know it looks like shit on TV and in the media, but if you go talk to any cop in real life, it ain't like that. So, that being said, train hard, know what you're doing, think about everything before it happens, right? Think about all the steps you're going to go through. Think about what happens if you encounter the bad guy, encounter a cop encounters you, all that stuff, what you're going to say to 911, how you're going to do it, all that stuff, right? Think about all that beforehand. That way, you can be an asset and not a liability.